All right, so today I have Greg Moffitt from LegalizedFreedom.com back, and welcome, Greg, again.
Hello again, Kira. Nice to be on with you once again.
I wanted to include you in this series that I'm working on called Why is the Alternative Media Such a Sausage Fest? Because I figured you would have some thoughtful comments and ideas concerning it. So I ask you that question. What do you think?
Well, I should just say for the purposes of full disclosure here that I did have a hot dog about 2 hours ago.
Well, thank you. So you're...
Yeah, I guess we're referring here, for people who don't know, it's not some sort of bacchanalian gay orgy. It's just male-dominated, really, is what you're thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my initial thought, because as you mentioned, you're doing more than one podcast on this, was I started thinking about the alternative media. What is that? Because it can be a bit nebulous at times. It's a broad church, covers a lot of things, but I think the thing that people in their minds will go to first, particularly those with maybe a sketchy, understanding of what alternative media is, they'll start to think conspiracy theories. That's kind of what they think it is. JFK, moon hoax, 9/11. That's the alternative media. And of course, that's only a bit of it.
Right.
But with that in mind, I just thought, well, it's male dominated. And I thought, well, it's just the planet, isn't it? It's men creating all these problems. And then it's other less powerful men kind of probing into the official narratives here. And I think for a lot of women, and this is in no way a disservice to them, it's kind of like, I'm just not interested. Really, it's simple as that. Now, I'm not talking about the whole spectrum of the alternative media and all the subject matter, but just that particular little corner of it that's geeky and nerdy and seeing, conspiracies everywhere, basically. A bit like the character I sent you through the little cartoon called Grassy Nollington, who sees...
Yes.
Sees conspiracies in his, he looks into his alphabet soup and it says 9/11, that type of thing.
Right. So it's that most people's conception of what the alternative media is really just the conspiracy part of, or the truth movement is seen as the entire alternative media, and women basically just don't have an interest in that sort of nerdy world. But there's really a lot more to it than that.
Oh, yeah, and as I said, that's the generalization, but that's just the headline I think that people go to. And I think that perception can also be off-putting. I occasionally over the years, I've had it's come up in conversation with a girlfriend or whatever. I don't mean necessarily, a partner, but just a friend who's a girl, and if any of these topics kind of get floated, even if it's not conspiracy stuff, it might just be, nature of the banking system, whatever. There is a bit of a kind of, don't talk to me about that sort of thing, or, what would I know about it? And these are not stupid people I'm talking to here, and, I think it's seen as, what good are you going to do probing into all that stuff? And, I guess they see, again, thinking of Grassy Nollington, they think of someone who just loses their mind and gets completely lost in that world. And, and that's not good. There's no doubt that there are people in the so-called truth movement who are psychologically damaged by it because they can no longer sleep at night. They don't trust anyone. My phone's being tapped. There's guys outside, black limousines talking into their sleeves. The black helicopter, tinfoil hat, the whole 9 yards.
Oh, yeah. And I wonder if maybe, there might be some people with maybe a paranoid personality disorder of some sort that are really attracted to it, and so really populate that sphere of the alternative media. Well,
I did a show about synchronicity with a guy, an interesting psychotherapist, a guy called Dr. Kirby Surprise, and that's actually his real name. And he deals with a lot of paranoid schizophrenics, and he says it was not uncommon for them to be getting personalized messages through the radio that they're being watched or that they've got to do something or whatever it happens to be. And they draw this information from all sorts of sources. I mean, the voice on the radio apparently is really, really common. You know, they'll put on the radio and they'll hear something being said. And as far as they're concerned, that's meant for them.